I will start off this video with some statements I found online regarding the sad news our community was met with yesterday. The statement made on the official Berserk website states the following. The most memorable thing about Miura is that whenever he came to our office, he was always open to talking about his favorite manga, anime and movies, always with a smile on his face. We had never seen Miura-sensei show even the slightest sign of anger. He seemed to be always having fun and full of contagious energy, almost like a young boy. George Morikawa, the author of the amazing boxing manga Hajime no Ippo, someone who hired Miura in the early stages of his own career, expressed the following statements in a series of tweets. Kentaro, I am deeply saddened by Kentaro Miura's death. The following is a panel of the school he drew for me. I was 19 and he was 18. He was so talented, he made me shiver. I am grateful we managed to continue drawing even to this age. I am shocked by the news. The following photo is a drawing Kentaro Miura gave me. I am getting very emotional. Let me tell a few stories. Back when I just started serialization, when I didn't have a single assistant, Miura reached out to me. He was 18 and I was 19. He showed up to my door with a sketchbook in one hand. I didn't know his abilities at the time, so I gave him one of my drawings to copy. I was amazed when I saw what he drew. His artistic abilities were years ahead of anyone as young as he was. After drawing a few pages together, we just started to talk about our favorite manga. Out of curiosity, I asked him to show me the sketchbook he brought with him. It gave me goosebumps. Inside was a sketch of a fairy and a man with a giant sword. What is this? I asked. It's what I have in my mind. When I get better, I am planning on starting it, Miura said. It was already heating up. Berserk was already there. Right around the time I started publishing Hajime no Ippo, he started publishing Berserk. He had expressed to me how difficult it was to plan out his story. Miura was confident that he had a great idea for a story. I was just amazed at how talented and hard-working one person can be. The amount of time and effort he put into everything is something only worthy of respect. I will end the personal stories here. I have heard that he always had me in his mind. It was a privilege to have worked with him. I am sorry for sharing our personal stories, Kentaro Miura-kun. I will read the finale one day. After the Berserk community received the very tragic news that Kentaro Miura passed away, a question which has naturally arisen is the following. What will happen to Berserk? In this video, I would like to give my thoughts about this, as well as how events like this have been dealt with in the past. Sadly, this is not the first time such a tragedy, where an author of an ongoing manga series has passed away. There are two main ways the ongoing manga is handled after the author's death. Number 1. The first solution is that the story abruptly ends with the last chapter the original author wrote. The most common way these stories are dealt with is for it to finish on whatever last chapter the author was working on. Some manga authors plan and write their chapters months in advance, meaning in some cases, the manga could continue to be serialized even a few months or weeks after the creator's death. However, some authors start and finish their chapters in a single month or week, meaning their work will abruptly end the same week or month they pass away. The second solution is for the story to continue publication through its assistant and editors. One common misconception regarding the creation process of manga is that it is all done by one person. While it is true that when manga artists begin their careers, they usually do all the work by themselves, when their work starts to get published in a magazine, and if they were to become increasingly popular, a whole team of assistants and editors will start to help out in the creation process. So if a popular ongoing manga author were to die, there is a possibility that the rest of the team would carry on producing the story until it finishes. I see a lot of people around the community just automatically assuming that Berserk will likely fall into the first solution, that it will abruptly end with the latest released chapter, chapter 363, but I wouldn't be so negative. And in this specific case with Berserk, I am positive that we are likely to see something more like the second solution, that Berserk will continue, even without Miura, at least for a couple of chapters. As many fans know, Miura has been putting a lot of time and effort into training his assistants, even going out of his way to create a completely new series, Duranki, just so his younger assistants could hone their skills more. I just find it hard to believe that even after all this preparation and training from the assistants, even after all the work Miura put into helping these drawers get to a competent level, the story can just abruptly end. Furthermore, Chapter 364 was set to be released in April, but it was delayed, most likely due to Miura's health condition at the time. If it does continue, another question arises. What will happen to the ending of Berserk? Would it be an ending thought up by Miura? As of the recording of this video, no information about this has been released. The following is all just based on my own predictions and research. The most important piece of the puzzle regarding whether Berserk will continue will depend on whether Miura left some sort of a manuscript about how the remaining story would have played out. Eiichiro Oda, the creator of another long-running manga series, One Piece, is known to have told his editors the specific details about how he wants One Piece to end, just in case something happens to him. So another question is, did Miura do the same thing as Oda? This is when it gets a little bit more complicated. Miura was someone who was notorious for having a very clear picture of how he wanted things to play out in the story. He has said in interviews that even he himself was prone to constantly worrying about whether he was able to properly put down to paper what he had envisioned in his mind. This is exactly why Miura had so many difficulties hiring and training different assistants, since even Miura himself, the original author of Berserk, wasn't fully confident in his ability to draw out his own work. There was no way he could 100% trust someone else to draw his works for him. And who could blame anyone? In such a creatively impressive, deep fictional world like Berserk, who really can keep the story going, other than Miura himself? As I mentioned at the start of the video, there have been other famous ongoing mangas where the author died before the story finished. Two cases I will quickly mention here are Itazura no Kiss by Kaoru Tada and Crayon Shinchin by Yoshito Usui. In Itazura no Kiss, although the manga is still left unfinished from Tada's unexpected death in 1999, the 2008 anime included an ending which was left as a manuscript from Tada before her passing. In Crayon Shinchin's case, while the manga finished on its 50th volume in 2010, 1 year after Usui's death in 2009, the anime is still ongoing, even today. Since Itazura no Kiss and Crayon Shinchin were both a simple, slice-of-life-esque anime, it was not very difficult for the assistants to continue the story from where the original author left it. However, the big difference between these two works and Berserk is that Berserk is set in a fictional fantasy world with multiple storylines going through it at once. This, combined with the aforementioned way that Miura was almost a perfectionist, will make the job very hard for the current assistants. If the story does continue long term, it will certainly miss some of the magical, subtle elements Miura was a master at implementing, and it may even start to feel like a different series. Even if Miura did leave some sort of a manuscript, his style is so hard to emulate. So going back to the first question, what will happen to Berserk? Summarizing everything I have said in the video, I am sure that we will get chapter 364 and at least a few chapters after that. But long term, I am very skeptical that the story will be fully concluded. But, as I mentioned in my previous video, while the fact that we may never see an ending is in fact extremely demoralizing, I'm grateful that we even got these 363 chapters so far. These chapters are enough to be a masterpiece.